Assalamu alaikum. Let's begin with the greeting of peace. Peace to you. Today's lesson is more than a lesson. I'm asking you to give it a listen. And I don't mean a play on words by this. I'm speaking to you as an American Muslim. A lesson is something that is given in order to enlighten you and to enrich you. And a lesson is an English word, and it necessarily has a teacher and students. The word for lesson in Arabic is dars. However, the word for listen in English is to pay attention and to hear. So I'm asking you to listen to this lesson carefully because it is based on my knowledge of history and Arabic and the fact that I am a 76-year-old American Muslim who's lived for over 20 years in Egypt and have come back in the midst of seeming chaos. But remember, only Allah orders everything in the universe, and only He can fix everything in the universe. So I'm starting off by letting you know that this is Passover time, and I would like to do, let's say, 5 or 6 lessons for this week and post them on Facebook. I've already started. However, this one is going to be a bit different. I'm going to literally read you excerpts from a wonderful compilation of Jewish scholars over the century. And I've specifically chosen what I feel is appropriate now. It has to do with the meaning of Zionism, the history of it, from a more humane viewpoint. And my wish and will and goal is for you to listen. Listen with your heart in the midst of what we are approaching, which is something Allah only gives good. He never gives bad. Everything that comes from Allah is necessarily containing much more goodness and mercy than pain. However, it's up to us. How are we going to go forward? Are we going to give a nod to every sundry, let's say, I don't want to say anything against anyone, I want to be fair, but there are those who have more of a background in what's going on and those who have more of a stake in what's going on. This is not just about Jewish, Zionist, Orthodox or otherwise, and Arabs, Muslims, Palestinian or otherwise. This is truly a regional conflict that could have dire repercussions for all of us. Now, when I use this saying, this American, would you call it a slang? No, we say give a nod, give a nod, give a nod. In other words, when you meet someone as you're walking past them, it's up to you. You may say to them, Salamu alaikum, peace to you. You may say to them, hey, what's up? You may say to them, good day, good morning, good evening. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Or you could give them a handshake or a hug. Or you could just give them this perfunctory nod, like as you're passing them. It means I recognize you. I'm not going to totally ignore you. I'll give you a nod. So let's give a nod to all parties concerned for the sake of the overall picture, the overall situation, the overall problem. It seems as though on the university campuses now, they're giving punches. They're throwing things. They're spewing vitriol, the likes of which I never thought I would hear on university campuses in America. Accusations are being hurled in the most inflammatory manner. I think it's time for cooler heads to prevail. And whatever side you're on, Could you just give a nod now for now? Because I'm going to be reading to you for the next perhaps 5 segments. From this book, I'll begin with lesson 1. I'll let you know this book is a classic, and it will give you a wide historical background as well as some very important, you may say, pseudo-fundamental religious precepts from a Jewish perspective, because this is Passover. And if you don't know, Passover is when the Jews recall they're being set free by their prophet warrior Moses. It's probably the first, it is the first, if you want to backtrack it with what's been written, it's the first celebration from we would call, or what they would want us to say, Zionism, which is the foundation of one of the problems we're dealing with now. The return to Zion. That's enough for the intro now. I'm trying to make this as concise as I possibly can so that in this week we can give a nod to those that we must recognize. At our peril, we will not recognize what the background is of this conflict, because so many don't want you to get a background. They don't want you to be aware, and they don't want you to understand, because Satan, who's at the root of all conflict, loves conflict. It's his business. So therefore, I'll close with this intro, and I'll see you, inshallah, immediately thereafter with lesson 1. Assalamu alaikum.